we're $100 cheaper than where we needed to be in the first 8 days.
We're starting to see some pretty insane results here, unlike anything that I've ever seen. So basically the content diversification strategy is...
The Fishbone Effect is kind of what I'm calling it. You have all of your creative, and then it's going to go outwards by targeting. By launching that way, I was looking at a few different things. One.
Hello and welcome to the Perpetual Traffic Podcast. This is your host, Ralph Burns, founder and CEO of Tier 11, with no Lauren E. Petrillo this week, but we do have special guest. He's becoming quite the special guest because he's appearing here quite a bit as we continue down this journey of decoding, I think is the right word to say it, the new Meta Andromeda update with even more information here, a new test that we uncovered a week or so ago on our Tier 11 Ad Lab series, which is on Fridays, every Friday, 2:30 p.m. You can catch it there, or you can obviously, the best ones we bring over here on Perpetual Traffic, because this has been a theme for the last month or so, is if you haven't paid attention on Meta ads, there is some change afoot, to say the least. And we have been testing it specifically. Our head of strategy at Tier 11, John Moran, has been strategizing this for quite some time, but also deploying the actual tactics of how to deploy creative inside a one campaign, one ad set, up to 50 ads in the new Meta Andromeda Ads Manager. It's a new world really here inside Advantage Plus Sales. So if you've not been experiencing this or you're not familiar with it, it's probably one of the massive changes that I've experienced here doing this 15 years. I mentioned this to John a couple of different times. There's been some tipping points all along the way in meta advertising, and it used to be Facebook advertising. Now it's meta advertising. But this is still the largest channel I think that we spend on. We spend about 220 thereabouts million a year between all the different platforms. Meta is still the largest share. Google is a very close second. It might actually be the first at this point. The point is this, is that this is a massive shift right now into automation, really backing into Meta's full-on push into AI. And I just read an article this past week that we've been quoting Meta's investment in AI at $25 billion. This year, it's actually going to be $61 billion. Those big data centers with all those NVIDIA GPU chips that make the algorithm that much smarter, it's all to power the advertising. So anyway, and this is a great way for you to learn, or for your team to learn. If you're director of marketing, VP of marketing, send this to your team and start deploying this immediately. Of course, if you need our help, we're happy to help you over here at Tier 11, tier11.com/apply. But this is an ongoing series on some of the changes inside of Meta. Today, John reveals the Wall-E fat people strategy. So you'll need to find out what that is by watching today's show, where creative dictates the performance. Creative is everything right now. And John has talked about the content diversification many times on this show here and on our Tier 11 ad labs. But once again, there's about 10 different, there's really 8 to 10 different ad types. He's only deploying 4 out of those 8 here today. The face to camera, us versus them positioning, and the founder story on a brand new campaign, 2 to 3 variations each, not really highly produced post-production. A lot of the stuff is just done with iPhones, sort of put together with a lot of the tools that are out there. CapCut is one of the favorite tools right now, especially if you're doing reels or any sort of like quick editing. You can also use the editing tools that are right on your iPhone. So there's not a whole lot of post-production here, but the point is like if you're using a diversity of creative, that is then dictating performance. And that's the big bottom line right now. If you're not valuing creative, you're in the wrong spot here. And you need to up your creative capabilities. We actually did a show this last week that talked about another business. We did the same thing, and he literally shot everything on his iPhone in like 2 hours. So, and the uplift on that performance, which will probably air here again, here on Perpetual Traffic, is pretty astounding as well. So these are first 2 campaigns, all from scratch. This is a B2B business. This is not an e-commerce business. So for you B2Bers out there, this is definitely for you. You might have said, Meta, it's not a platform for me. That's all B2C. Well, it's not, actually. A lot of things have changed, and it's because of this Meta Andromeda update. So let's get right into this week's episode. Take it away, guys. John.
Yeah.
Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday.
I know we've been cooking up some crazy stuff in the performance kitchen here today, which we're going to be talking about yet again. More Meta, more Andromeda. The funny thing is we had a call with our new Meta rep this week.
I love those.
Man, and so we're like, we sort of feel like, with the Andromeda update, there's a lot of things that are really changing and we're really excited about it. And he was like, the Andromeda update?
I know how many times I heard that. Well, my meta rep didn't tell me, and I'm like, ask them about it. And then they come back, they're like, well, they started to explain how it works. I'm like, I heard it here first, folks. I mean, that's basically what my whole spiel has been now for like the last 4 months.
There's some massive changes that have happened here. And I don't know I think we actually talked about this on last show. All the changes that have happened, I think purposely they haven't announced them so that people can figure out a way around them. Maybe that's part of the strategy, but like the way around it is actually to sort of follow the guide and follow the rules and sort of do what they say, which is what we've been doing. The caveat to that is that, you have discovered through some, I think you had to kill a couple of people in order to get this content diversification. Was that it?
I know I had to do some unspeakable things to one of the reps. And after mouthwash, I came out with the 10 different content categories. That now we have. And so that was, I mean, that's actually kind of a big topic for today about I have my first one that we've actually launched with that exact structure and setup, the way that it was explained to me. They also have a PMAX update though too, so kind of cool stuff. PMAX is back in action now with imports, so new stuff, exciting, fun stuff today.
This is interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, so basically the content diversification strategy is 10 different types of ads. If you haven't been watching the show, and we'll show a screenshot of what those are at some point in time during today's show. But the point is that you've tested this with really one ad type with one of the test accounts and have gotten amazing results, and then added in more of those types of different types of ads, and then sort of reached like a next level of scale and using the strategies that really Meta hasn't given much guidance on, aside from just say, hey, throw everything in and we'll figure it out into the ad set. And well, there's actually a method behind that. And we're starting to see some pretty insane results here on all these test accounts and some tier 11 accounts. And we're getting really good results. But unlike anything that I've ever seen, I've been doing this for 12, 15 years now on the Meta side. I mean, I remember, I started with the right-hand rail ads way back when. So that was the thing way back when everybody used the same, stock footage of this, brown haired, darker skinned female for all their affiliates.
Oh my God. Yeah. I remember that the 30-year-old brunette. That was
the 30-year-old brunette. That's it.
Oh my God. I had a solar company I was marketing with, and it was Arizona. It was Arizona-based company, and it was Arizona roofs, big solar panels, light glaring off it. Everything looking good on Meta. And then we had this literally a female brunette laying down in a field, upside down. So it's her legs are up here, her head was down there, and the sun shining on her. And that actually got more leads for solar. And it had nothing to do with the house or even solar. It was just her laying in a field and the sun shining. It's absorb the sun. I was oh, whatever.
Yeah, whatever works. Yeah, the one that I used was it was a newscaster from Europe, and I forget what her name was, and every affiliate used it. And then I would send all that traffic to, unfortunately, what they refer to as farticles and flogs. And I'm not even going to get into what all that is. But anyway, it worked really, really well until Facebook shut down a lot of ad accounts. But anyway, that was many, many years ago. But that's when it started. And now it is at a very different stage. And it's all because of AI and it's machine learning. And it's the investment that Meta has made into artificial intelligence, which is starting to really bear fruit and make the job of a media buyer a hell of a lot easier. So, yeah. Kind of know the guidelines here. I'm not saying anything's easy, but at least
it's a simpler structure, but more complex reasons as to why.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it got harder and it got more difficult, but simpler at the same time in different aspects. And what's funny too is like I know a lot of people who are still like, I have a mastermind with like 120 people, and it's kind of like a closed group of people I've been working with for a few years. And a lot of them will say like, hey, John, I've actually found a way to include my exclusions. I'm like, well, hold on a moment. When we look at what is being excluded and what is being spent on is actually different than what actually is happening. So as a fun, just quick example of this, if there are people who are out there, and I'm going to share screen. This is an example of something. This is a new customer campaign here. We're using first click CAPI imports, obviously, that's what you pretty much have to do on Meta now. But you can even see that we have in the campaign, in the account, I have my existing customers, a Shopify CRM, and we also have our 180-day list. I mean, everything is inside of here. Inside of the audience exclusions, custom audience exclusions for Shopify CRM customers, all this. I mean, basically everybody that we've ever had in Shopify and 180 days of recent purchases. So the last 6 months of recent purchases and our entire list all excluded. And Meta's like, all right, cool. I only spent 20 cents this week on existing customers. Like, okay, good job. See, John, they're excluded. But if we have a reach of 5, then how the hell did we convert 33 returning customers? And this is what those first click CAPI imports get you, the truth of as to what's going on. This is still out of 136 sales, 102 are new, $76 NCAC and platform good. But do not believe for a second that the 20 cents and 5 reach and 10 impressions is real. It actually did get 33 returning purchasers. So yes, you can exclude, and yes, you can believe the lie that Meta will tell you, because Meta doesn't know the truth. So that's what's interesting is they're not purposely lying. They just don't have the data. So when we have the real data, we can actually see that, yes, it does either get ignored or doesn't see. Either one is not an exclusion. It's a hope. So it's a very, very interesting test.
Yeah, it certainly is. Well, we're going to get into more of that today. And that's not the police coming for me. That is fire trucks going by the apartment here in Brookline. So if you hear sirens in the background, I'm carried away in zip ties, then you know something's really amiss. But anyways, fire just street. Holy crap! It's like 17 fire trucks just went by. You're killing me with data.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. No smoke smelling in this apartment here, which is good. So yes, this is some exciting stuff here, and we have been rebroadcasting a lot of these over on Perpetual Traffic. And every time I go back and listen to them, like we rebroadcast one from 2 weeks ago, I got even more excited just because. And it's only been 2 weeks, and now you have more discoveries even from then, because we have our weekly call right before this call, so I sort of know what's coming at this point. But the point is like, I've never seen a time like this inside Meta where stuff is so interesting and the results are so incredible for letting the algorithm do its work.
Yeah,
which is
just setting it up the right way.
And setting it up the right way. Exactly. I know.
And so I'm gonna share with you. This is my first 2 campaigns that have been launched from scratch with Andromeda. One campaign, one ad set, all creative. Done with at least 2 to 3 variations of each creative content category. So us versus them, positioning tests, face to camera, founder story, all that. CAPI imports with a caveat though. In Meta, the CAPI imports are coming from HubSpot as a source. HubSpot as a source is fairly poor as attribution. It's mainly kind of like last click or kind of what it can match, what it can see. It's okay. So we're kind of blending a mix between just standard purchasers and what we can see being at least imported. So that's the only caveat. But I like to share the results of that so far, because I do believe that the creative is going to dictate the performance, more so than anything that is included and excluded. Also, starting off with the correct creative is going to give us the best chance at even spends and even optimization. And we have 2 campaigns here. And in the last week and day, so let's just call it 7, 8. So basically last 8 days, because we actually started this on the 23rd and today's the 1st, but I can only go through the 23rd through the 30th, because with CAPI imports, it happens the day before, which is yesterday. So we're not going to count yesterday. So basically 90% of the data so far. You can see that it was not on before. This basically, we had other campaigns that were spending, but then we actually started to increase our ad spend with these 2 here. And the 2 campaigns that we have is a general and then one for healthcare. This is a company that has a very amazing offer where anybody can take all of their prerequisites online for a very low cost. It transfers through all of the colleges of the United States. So it's a great company, great product, great service, great offer, etc. Now, what we're doing, and I'll show the results, the last 4 days compared to the previous 4 days. So basically the day of the launch to the day of the last CAPI import that we know, pending anything that happened yesterday, has not been imported or seen yet today. So we can see that we actually have a 26% drop in spend on both. This was actually due to Meta's rejections of our ads. We are talking about college credits. It thought we're talking about credit cards and credit debt. So we got hit with financial services, but that's neither here nor there. But if we do, just as an example, to kind of share with you the overall test, if you look at the actual spend for each one of these things, we just kind of lost it here. So nothing too bad. But that was the only blip in this test that was not kind of like perfect. That and also the CAPI import source. Anyway, what we're seeing now is we launched it, we let it go. We do not touch it. We allow it to identify its proper traffic per ad and then building the sequence for all of them. So essentially, it's going to fishbone out. If you think about the ads in a level, I'll just stop sharing screen. The fishbone effect is kind of what I'm calling it. You have all of your creative, and then it's going to go outwards by targeting. So there's top funnel, there's bottom of the funnel, there's middle of the funnel, and it's hitting different audiences. And what it's going to try to do is bring them in and push them through. That's how Andromeda kind of works.
Yeah.
So by launching that way, I was looking at a few different things. One, how is it optimizing both in the general campaign and the healthcare? And for example, the general campaign and the healthcare both have overlapping foundational content. Founder story, found in both. Us versus them about our company, found in both. Us versus going to regular community college, found in both. Only one is optimizing for a specific industry. We have 10 more industries to go. So this is going to be a larger build out over a course of time.
Got it.
The spend has dropped 26%, 25%. However, the cost per result has also dropped 56% and 65%. So the last 4 days compared to the first 4 days, we are approximately, kind of like 100-ish% better. We are
just in that's in 8 days total. Like
right.
Before and after in 4 days. Like that's the algorithm taking effect and doing what you want it to be doing.
Exactly. We want this to kind of find its way. What's interesting about this is we had like a 225 CAC target, and we could say that we're above target 374, but because this is the actual purchases and this is what was matched in HubSpot and CAPI imported, I do believe that we are probably somewhere in between that. This is probably over attributed, and this is I can guarantee it, we've already proved it, under attributed. So that's what's kind of interesting is we know that there's things that we're missing in between there. But if we just look at what was all sales, we have 166 sales total. So 20,969 divided by 166, $126. We needed to be at 225 or below. So we're $100 cheaper than where we needed to be in the first 8 days. What's interesting about this, though, is the spend allocation. I really, really love the spend allocation. We have one campaign, one asset on CBO because it has to be. And
look at how simple that is.
Very clean.
Campaigns, one ad set, 25 ads in each one, thereabouts.
Yeah, because we have about 3 versions of 8 different pieces. We're not doing AI, and we're not doing like what's it called? Like the face to camera is kind of like variations of other product and services. So we're still building creative. This is just kind of what we were able to piece together with existing data. Now, I'll share with you some kind of cool...
Us versus them, you got the product demo, you got the founder story, you got some UGC, like you got that.
Yeah, face to camera, feature benefits, founder story, positioning test, us versus them, UGC, frequent asked questions, more positioning, product demos. I mean, all of these testimonials, all of these are involved.
Yep.
And what we see is our spend allocation looks really good. 3,700, 3,000, 2,000, 1,800, 1,500, 1,300, 1,200, 1,000. All of the ads in this ad set, sorting descending, are getting a very even though it's still descending, which it always will. But it's not like the first 2 ads have 10 grand, the rest have $50, which typically happens when you don't have good content diversification. Yep. What we're also seeing is we have some creative that we basically just took the website. This is my tinfoil hat kind of, not, I guess I wouldn't even say tinfoil hat, but what I have actually a picture of, that might piss a lot of people off here, so my apologies. I believe that who we are as consumers have now turned into what I call the Wally fat people. When I say Wally fat people, well,
sorry,
all I say is
America right there.
Well, we're feed-based consumers now.
Yes, we are.
I don't want to click. I have my big gulp in my hand. My digital currency is now a click because I'm feed-based. So because I have YouTube feeds, Instagram feeds, Meta feeds, news feeds, everything is being fed to us. We're living in a feed-driven world. So for me to entice you with an ad, get you to click and go to learn doesn't really happen too much anymore. It's now just you show me, and if I like it, I'll lift my arm and click it. I'll put down my big open, I'll click it. That's the Wally fat people thing. So knowing that was kind of my thought process there, I try to make it fun. What we did, we basically
it's reality. That's the way that it is. We have to become that way.
It is. We are now the Wally fat people. So what I did is said, well, what if we had a video that was literally like this part here is like, it's basically someone on the website just clicking the button to see how much you could save on how many credits. So this is basically, we've taken the interactive website and put it in front of you rather than behind the click. It's now before the click.
That's so cool.
So the way that we're doing this, and then obviously we have like a founder story. This is Gemini Matt that is explaining the kind of the founding of the company. Positioning test. A lot of this you're going to see is actually kind of rehashed images on our site.
Yeah.
So can we take our website and basically just give it to you in feed form? Because that's how you want to consume content.
This is cool.
Right.
Oh, Lauren is getting pissed at you right now. Just grab stuff off the website, turn it into creative.
Right. So that's kind of it. Like, so we even have like our, you're looking at like UGC, like obviously this is good stuff. And then it's also on the website of showing all the courses. And so I'm just putting the website in front of you. That's kind of the theory there.
Yeah.
So because we are moving into the Wally fat people type of marketing, we have to take into consideration it's no longer, hook and pain point, get the click, educate. That's still obviously there. But now when they get the hook and they get the click and they educate, it needs to mirror what they've already been seeing in the feed.
Yeah.
So this is developing brandability and congruency. So that's kind of the way that the delivery system's working now.
Yeah, it's an interesting point here. And I was talking to the guy that one of the groups that I consult with. But anyway, we were talking about their business. And I'm like, well, how do you take it to the next level? And it's like, well, we're going to do these lead magnets. We're going to get them to click and do opt-ins. I'm like, wait a second. That is kind of the old way of doing things. Like you need to put in the news feed what you are. I had another client this week who's been with us for 7 years, I think. It's like, take all your best stuff, put it in the news feed during those 10 different formats, and then educate the consumer. You're paying for that view, but you're not getting the click, which is fine, but you're still making an impression.
Right.
So because of Wally fat people, like that's how people consume now. They don't want to have to click. I don't want to have to opt in and get, put my name and my email in and click off this. I'm so lazy. So we're just catering to that to a certain degree. Like it's human psychology, but it's also, we are all feed based. And I think Meta understands it too.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And I think they're basically saying like, hey, people are educating themselves with the feed. Like if you give us all of your content diversification, I can educate these people feed related.
Right.
Okay, this makes sense. And so if you have two similar pieces of content, then it's just not going to work.
Right.
And what's cool about this though is because the content is doing the targeting, some things that I'm not doing a normal media buyer would do is look at this and say, okay, I've spent $3,700. I only have one customer. I have a $3,700 cost per customer. Oh no, that's not really. We have to take this in consideration where if the spend is still being spent on it, we do not touch it. That was my rule. I said, if it's above goal, which I guess below goal, if it's not in line with the goal, then, and the spend is decreasing, that means it's a, hey, pause this ad. If the ad spend is still running fairly rampant, we leave it on because this is still identifying new users. This could be my loss leader. Well, check this out. If I flip to this campaign, that same one here is actually it's our second best performing ad. We have the second highest amount of customers from that. And the CPA is actually only about $100 more than the average instead of $5,000 or $4,000 more than the average. So why is that? Well, is this a good video? Yes. Are they being found locked in and converted in the other campaign? Maybe not. Are they in this campaign? Maybe so. Mm-hmm. So we sort of have to look at our content diversification where if we're looking at two campaigns and two ad sets, like these two faces to camera have wildly different results, but it's a same audience that has the same kind of goal in mind, and it's just working in one campaign, but not the other one. All this tells me is that this is still our loss leader. They just may be clicked or attributed here. Okay. So we have to think about it differently. We have to definitely look at like the progress of the campaign's performance to say, is this progressing where I want? Well, 100% more new customers for 65% less customers while saving $3,000 is looking like it's optimizing pretty well to me. So we're going to leave this go. And we're going to continually try to make it better and better and better as we iterate the content. So now we're just swapping out UGCs, swapping out face to camera, swapping out founder stories, swapping. And exactly. We're trying to make each of these portions of the funnel better.
So that really is, in essence, like a product demo, because you're sort of showing them how the product sort of kind of works. Like, how would you categorize that one with the slider, top, middle? Okay, so that's top, middle funnel. But it's not, it's getting the most spend. It's obviously, you're looking at this at an ad set level, your global NCAC, not just the individual ad specifically. But if you do see that one particular ad is decreasing in reach, that's when you shut it off. Because I know we did the Pet Wellness Direct example before. This sort of giving people guidelines on when you should shut stuff off. Because the old school world of thinking is like, oh my God, it's getting all this spend and I have no conversions on it. Well, think about this differently. Like it's contributing, not attributing, your words, to the overall health of the entire campaign and the business. So
and exactly what we're seeing too is we give it more time. I don't mean to rush. I want to make sure by 2:15 I can get at least the next 5 minutes my PMAX update before we go into Q&A.
Oh yeah.
So I just want to make sure I can get this. But you're 100% right. You can see this example here. Did I get customers? Yes, I got 2 customers, 1 customer here, and then it kind of stopped. Well, did the spend drop? Actually, it did. Is it out of goal? Yes, it is. This one is on the list of needing to be reiterated. It already chose the other feature and benefit. I already have a better performing feature and benefit. This one needs to be redone. It's already actually beaten its performance. We have to give this time because it doesn't mean that it won't come back. But what we're looking at is the swings. Some are 70% up, some are 70% down, some are 30% down, some are 50% up. It's still finding its footing. It's still testing and iterating. So while this is still being flip-flop back and forth, we're just hanging tight. We will find that the meter will ping in the red line on some ads and then it will fall off a cliff on the other ones. And those that are pinging in the red line in ad spend, that gets saved. The ones that are being ignored get iterated. Very, very simple process now.
Yeah. And this is for education products. This is for digital products, correct? Like
that's for digital. Yeah, it's digital product SaaS. Exactly.
Perfect. So like the same thing, and we've used e-commerce examples primarily on this show in the last 3-4 months. This is obviously a completely different animal. Same rules apply. Amazing. Exactly. On to PMAX.
So everyone knows that I really like CAPI imports. If you haven't heard me say this 16 times on this video already, so we started to use the CAPI imports in this company here for new customers. And we actually started on July 11th. We launched a new Performance Max. And I launched Performance Max that was feed only, new customer only, brand terms excluded, 180 days of website traffic, and last says 2024 customer list excluded.
Okay.
Now, did it work? Kind of. It's still getting some existing customers at a ratio of 121 and 70. So yes, PMAX does go warm. We absolutely know that to be true. This is way warmer than our standard shopping. Our standard shopping is like 120 and 10. This is 120 and 70. And they are technically all ad event type. These are all click based. Like we can see, we have one conversion engaged view, 448 click based. So you can see, obviously, this is all click. So it's all click. It's all new customers. It will still get existing customers, but since it's non-brand, that's happy retention. Cool. That's the cream on top that we don't have to pay for.
All right. So I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Make sure that if you listen to this and you got sort of the general idea, make sure you go over to our YouTube channel to watch this. You can see it obviously over on tier11.com/YouTube, but better yet, go over to perpetualtraffic.com/YouTube. You'll see it right there in the show notes on perpetualtraffic.com. But super important for you to hear it and then watch it. Send this to your team if you're a director of marketing or VP of marketing. Like I said before, if you want our help, head on over to tier11.com/apply. We're deploying this in all kinds of different businesses right now. This content diversification strategy is absolutely game changing. And there's a lot of variations to it, which we're doing. Like John is obviously showing his variation of it, but that's one way in which to do it. We're also figuring out different ways for our individual team members to do it as well. And I suggest that you send this off to your team, have them learn, and then figure out the best way to deploy those strategies as well as to improve upon it. Because this is evolving as we speak here. There is no hard and fast black and white rules here on how to use the new Meta Andromeda update is how we're calling it, but really more specifically Advantage Plus sales over on Meta. So wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you leave us a rating and a review. It helps us get this show out to a wider audience, teach people how to do this stuff the right way. And of course, all the show notes, everything that we mentioned here on this week's show is over at perpetualtraffic.com. So on behalf of my amazing not here co-host, Lauren E. Petrullo, until next show, see ya.